I'm going to double check to make sure it is not working on YouTube. Oh no. This is not good. All right, bear with me here. Okay. All right. It is working. All right. I got a great show planned out. We're going to talk about the NFL draft. My mock draft picks 1 through 27 has come in. Next week, I'll have my full first round mock draft revealed. I'll have 5 videos come out before the show Friday. And I also will have next Monday, I'll have the picks for the 3 teams that do not have a first round pick. We're talking about the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Texans. I haven't decided if I'm going to do one video just for all 3 of those teams or if I'm going to do 3 separate videos. The plan was to do 3 separate videos, so that's what I'm probably going to do, but it could just be one video. So, man. But a buddy of mine's like, what's so great about this show? The rest of your shows suck. And here's the drill. It's almost draft season. It's actually draft season now. It's almost draft day. It's less than 2 weeks away. That's why this show's extra special, because it's draft time. It's almost here. Which one do I like better? The NFL draft? Do I like NFL draft day or do I like Christmas? It's always the NFL draft. And if you don't like the NFL draft as much as I do, that's fine. You join in anyway, man. Let's just talk some football. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. It's the only thing I do. However, any questions you have, I will give you an answer. Funk, man, it's good to see you, brother. I know you're jacked up about draft season. Very jacked up. My final mock draft is going to have some changes. Just a warning, I'm going to have some changes in my final mock. So Funk knows the drill. It's 2 weeks. Very, very excited. I cannot wait for the draft. Right before I joined the show, Marquise Goodwin is now a Chicago Bear. I don't know the full details about that, but I had the Bears taking Jalen Waddle. That could be another draft selection change. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But Wednesday, 12 days from now, I will come on here live and do a live first round mock draft. I'll answer all your questions. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show today. I'm very excited, man. I've been looking forward all day just to sit here and just talk football. Just talk football. And hey, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to stand by the Mac Jones talk to San Francisco at 3. I'm going to stand by that. I think it's just hype. I think it's noise. I'm going to stand by my first 3 picks, which is Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson. I don't think you make that big of a trade up for Mac Jones. And it's nothing against Mac Jones. And if that's the pick, hey, more power to you. But when I release my draft grades, I'll probably give San Francisco a bad grade for trading up all that way for a guy who really shouldn't be the 3rd pick in the draft. Nothing against Mac Jones, but he's not worth the 3rd pick in the draft. I mean, let's just be clear. There's some good traits about the guy. There's some really good traits about the guy. You can compare him to Joe Burrow if you want, and you're not that far off. I think Joe Burrow has a little more athleticism, maybe a little more accuracy. To be honest, going into the draft, I really thought that depending on which team you were, you had a different quarterback as number 1. Not this year. Trevor Lawrence is obviously number 1. Zach Wilson to me is number 2. I think it's by a considerable margin. I have Fields over Lance, but that's my opinion. And then Mac Jones, I don't think is in the same category as those first 4. I think you have those 4 quarterbacks. And then I think Mac Jones is a first rounder, but he's a first rounder because the way you grade quarterbacks is by 1 round up. Let's say you have somebody who's a 4th round quarterback where you draft them in the 3rd round. I think a guy like Mac Jones, to be honest, would be better suited going either in the 2nd round or later in the 1st round. Currently, I got him mocked 15th to the Patriots, which I think is a good move. So, that's just my opinion, plain and simple. And different people have different rankings. Some people have Trey Lance over Justin Fields. I do not, but I think they're very close. I think they're very close. But Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are also very close. I think there's a gap between Lawrence and Wilson and Fields. I think there's a sizable gap. I think it's a larger gap between Lawrence and Fields than there is between Fields and Lawrence than there is with excuse me, than there is with Lawrence and I'm this tongue-tied. I'm tongue-tied today. Okay. Lawrence and Fields have a small gap between Fields, Wilson. I meant Wilson. And then Wilson and Fields. So anyway. Man. A draft's only, so that's why it's going to be such a great show. The big question really is that you're going to have 3 quarterbacks. All right. You're going to have 3 quarterbacks go in the first 3 picks. But after that, the Atlanta Falcons, what are they going to do? The rumor mill is the Falcons coach, Arthur Smith. He's the new head coach. He wants to take Kyle Pitts. Where the GM, he wants to take a quarterback, whether it's Fields or Lance. And that's going to be interesting. I really think, okay, here's the deal. After Lawrence, it's going to be 2 quarterbacks. The question is who? I'm sticking with Fields and Wilson going in that order. I keep hearing that Mac Jones is definitely going third. If that's the case, that's the case. But here's what you're looking at. You're looking at Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and then at number 4, do you take Fields or Lance, or do you take Kyle Pitts? And apparently the coach for Atlanta, he wants Pitts, and the GM wants a quarterback. So Funk is saying, I'm not a Fields fan. Man, I can handle it. But I keep hearing a few people say they like Fields better than Wilson, and that blows my mind. You know, Funk, I'm not that far away. I like Wilson significantly better than Fields also, but I get why people like Fields better. And I'll tell you why. You're looking at somebody who's 15 to 20 pounds heavier. The 4.4 speed, a lot of people love it. Some people just don't care that much about it. Me personally, I don't care that much about it. I don't want my quarterback running like Lamar Jackson. That's me. And I think a lot of people see somebody like Cam Newton, who's done a lot of running successfully. You can look at like Michael Vick. You could take a look at Lamar Jackson, and I think a lot of people are intrigued by the pure athleticism and speed. I mean, here's a kid who's 6'2", 230. He's got a good arm, and he runs a 4.4. That's intriguing. It's great, but and here's the thing: like Fields is a top 5 quarterback. He's worthy of a top 10 pick. There's talk that he may drop out of the top 10. I don't see that, but I mean, here's a guy who's got everything you want. I just think Lawrence and Wilson are just significantly better. When I see Zach Wilson, this guy goes number 1. I would say over 60, maybe even 70% of the time. If you showed me Wilson and his performance this year, he goes to the Bengals at 1. He goes to the Bengals at 1. There's no way you can look at Zach Wilson and Joe Burrow from last year and say, oh, yeah, I went Burrow. I mean, it's obvious. When you look at the tape, when you look at Wilson, I think he comes into the NFL top 5 arm talent, maybe. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, who's got more arm? Who easily has more arm talent? I mean, strength, you got Josh Allen, of course. Patrick Mahomes has more arm talent. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. Who else you want to throw out there? I mean, he comes into the NFL able to do things that no one else can. I mean, it's really, he's going to come into the NFL and he's going to be fun. I 100% believe that he's going to San Francisco at 3. That's the reason why you gave up 3 number ones and a 3. I don't think you do it for a guy like Mac Jones. I think you do it for a guy like Zach Wilson, who I think 70% of the time would go number 1 overall. Just Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect I've seen since Andrew Luck. And before Andrew Luck, I couldn't tell you. I wasn't. I know a lot of people are very high on Michael Vick when he came out. I was not. Trying to think of other numbers. Oh, Manning. I had Ryan Leaf over Manning. Yes, I'm that guy. I actually had Ryan Leaf higher than Manning. I actually did that. So I wasn't that high on Manning. I really wasn't. Plain simple. Trying to think of other number 1 quarterbacks that came out that I would say maybe better than Zach Wilson, and I'm just drawing a complete blank. Tim Couch wasn't. Bledsoe maybe, but back then you have to realize that quarterbacks' mobility was not considered an issue. Really loved Drew Bledsoe coming out of Washington State. I remember watching him in college, just like, oh my God. Funk, are you serious? Okay, this is I've also seen the guys say Fields and Wilson are the same player. I had to explain it there. I don't know who told you that, man. You're going to see lots of stupid things. You're going to see lots of stupid things on social media. True story. I don't know why I did this. I was on Instagram. I followed the Atlanta Falcons, and they said, who's the best duo wide receivers in the National Football League? I'll wait. And it was a picture of Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. And I said, well, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce is basically a wide receiver. He told me to kill myself. I instantly blocked him. I'm like, dude, if you gotta argue sports and get that much into it, I'm not going to talk to you. I instantly just went for the block. And I got to do that with a lot of people on social media. However, all right, you know what? I always say, take a look at my social media below, but I don't believe I put my social media links. If you listen to rebroadcast or any one of my other videos, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube. But no, I don't know what to tell you, Funk. That is nowhere near the same type of player. They're two different built things. Now, let's go with the positive. Fields is NFL ready. He's 6'2", he's 230, he runs a 4.4 in a simple offense, which the Jets are going to run. He could come in, he could be a day 1 starter. All right. Me and you both watched him at Ohio State. No, he does have limitations on the next level. When I look at Zach Wilson, all right, caliber of competition, but I think he's a guy that's going to have a little more struggle initially jumping into the NFL, but after year 2, there's no limit. I mean, seriously, he could be a top 5 quarterback in year 2 or 3. I think with Fields, he's a guy who's always going to be pretty good, depending on how you use him. See, I think he's going to the Jets. I'm going to stand by it. And I think the Jets are going to try to do the same thing San Francisco did to win a Super Bowl. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play good defense. And that's pretty much it. And I think you're going to see the same thing out of the Jets. I think you're going to see a team who is going to play good defense. I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually really like what the Jets are doing in the offseason. I really didn't think they would be doing this good of a job. They revamped their defensive line. I really like it. And offensively, they're going to run a pretty simple offense. They're just going to be a run first team, which is kind of rare. So, but anybody who says that, I have no idea what you're looking at. I mean, you're looking at 2 mobile guys, but Fields is NFL ready physically because he's 230. I think Wilson's 215. And I think he played at like 205. I think he had to bulk up to 215, to tell you the truth. But he's a guy that If you draft Wilson, you don't want to play him year one. Fields, you can play year one. Wilson, I would not. But I think Wilson's ceiling is so much higher, so much higher. UCF Jaguar, man. I'm such a fan of your show. I'm so jacked up. I can't believe you follow me. This is great. I don't know. I should have asked you. I should have sent a link to your channel with my Jacksonville Jaguar picks. If you don't mind, let me know what you think. Obviously, it's Trevor Lawrence, but 25, I have Elijah Vera Tucker. So, love to know what you think about that. Funk says, I had to tell him the biggest difference I've seen was when plays break down, Fields looks to make plays with his leg. Wilson still tries to use his arm, and Wilson throws small arm angles. 100% true. 100% true. And here's what's going to happen with the Jets, and I'm going to stand by Fields going to the Jets. Here's the offense when he goes back to pass. Read number one, read number two, check down, run, and that's it. That is it. So, yeah. Wilson will start day one, in my opinion. UCF Jaguar, I have him going to San Francisco in round one. I'm a very, very small minority. I don't know if he'll start in Jacksonville day one. If he goes to the Jets, which most people have, yes, he will start day one. I don't think he should. I think he should sit a year. I think all quarterbacks should sit a year. I am an old school type of guy that way. But I think for the Jets, with the offense that they're going to run, which is as basic as you can get, you could put Fields in that offense and be successful. Let's say the Jets take Wilson, same situation. They'll probably have the same type of offense where, 1-2 check down. But instead of running the ball, hopefully they tell them just throw it away. Where a guy like Wilson can make, a guy like Fields, my mistake. Fields can make plays with his feet. Wilson would be more apt to maybe try to make a 50-50 ball or something. I mean, he's got massive arm talent, but Wilson, if he goes number 2 or number 3, will probably start day one. I think Fields is more ready to start day one because I think he can handle a pounding because of his size. He's 230. Wilson's a guy I really think needs to put on some extra muscle and really should sit. I think the speed from going from BYU to the NFL is just going to be big time. It's always big time, but I think Fields will be able to handle it a lot better than Wilson early on. Will Wilson start day one? Yeah, if he goes 2 or 3, yes. Keep in mind, San Francisco still has Jimmy G, so Jimmy G may start the first half of the year. But Jacksonville's your guy, Trevor Lawrence, he's starting day one. Whoever the Jets take it to is starting day one. San Francisco at 3, I think maybe Jimmy G starts day one. So I know, isn't it cool? Denver Gator, welcome, brother. Welcome, man. To everybody who's watching, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. It helps expand. It helps make it grow. We can reach out to more fan bases. Ultimately, I like to have this be an interactive show. I just create this so I can just talk football because bottom line, I could go out on a date with a beautiful girl. I can hang out with a bunch of guys and talk football. I always want to talk football with a bunch of guys. I'm that type of crazy. That's all I'm here to do is just talk football. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. I could literally talk for 10 minutes about every single football team. That's 32 teams, 320 minutes. It's over 5 hours. I could sit here and just talk football 100%. So. But, yeah, the draft's 2 weeks away. Very excited about the draft. Some really good free agent pickups. The Bears, I don't know if it's a trade or a free agent pickup for Marquise Goodwin. I literally just saw that as I was coming in. That may change my draft. Dustin has not joined the show yet, but he made some comments in my chat, and now I'm kind of thinking Carolina may I have them taking Patrick Surtain to 2. They need a elite corner. Look at the division you're in. I mean, look at the division you're in. You have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You have 1 guaranteed Hall of Fame receiver in Julio Jones, and you got Mike Evans and Mike Thomas are on their way to Hall of Fame caliber careers, and you just got a bunch of guys. However, starting left tackle Greg Little's in his first 2 seasons, I think he's played a total of 7 games. You need a left tackle. So I think Dustin kind of convinced me that tackle's going to be the place to go here. All right, UCF. I'd like to hear it. I think it's smoke. I 100% think it's smoke. I will 100% stand by that San Francisco made this trade for Zach Wilson, not Mac Jones. They gave up an arm and a leg. I don't think you do it for a guy like Mac Jones. I think that, by the way, if you're not aware, the head coach and offensive coordinator of the New York Jets, who pick at 2, came from San Francisco. You have Mike LaFleur, whose brother's the head coach in Green Bay. He's now the offensive coordinator. So he's going to have a lot of impact on this draft. And you got Robert Saleh, of course, who's defensive coordinator for the last several years in San Francisco. I'm 100% convinced here's what happened. San Francisco and the Jets talked. San Francisco said, hey, look, Miami wants to trade down. Who are you taking? Because we want to trade up to 3 if you don't get our guy. And I think the Jets said that we're going to take Justin Fields. I don't think they're advertising it to anybody else. I think they're going to look at all the quarterbacks, but I think they like Fields. There's a lot of people out there that have Fields over Wilson. A lot of people. I do not, but there's a lot of people that do. And for what the Jets offense is going to be like, Wilson may be the better Fields may be the better quarterback. It's going to be a simple offense. It's going to be a very basic offense by NFL standards. Very simple offense. It's just going to be basically 1-2, dump off or run the ball. And with a guy like Wilson, who's trying to make plays with the pass, it might be more like 1-2, dump off, or 50-50 ball. So I can talk about my Lions for 5 hours and the rest North for like 3 and the rest of the – hey, man, I'm with you, Funk, man. I can talk football as long as you want, man. I could talk any NFL team, man. Of course, I'm a little biased towards my Chiefs, but I created this channel because I want to hear from 32 different fan bases. So I'm pretty excited about it. Who do I think picks up Sheldon Richardson? I was really surprised Cleveland let him go, to tell you the truth. I could see him possibly going to Seattle. That would be my first guess, would be Seattle, because Jared Reed, he was let go. He went to Kansas City on a 1-year deal. That's actually an underrated signing by Kansas City, who's already got 2 pretty good defensive linemen in Chris Jones and Frank Clark. Adding a guy like Jared Reed is a guy that could really help out. But Sheldon Richardson, first thing would be Seattle, who I think really needs to improve on defense. That would be my guess. And another team would be Minnesota, unfortunately. And I know that's not a good thing, but Minnesota's a team that has to get better. Plus, they drafted 15 rookies last year. They had such a young team. And I think that Mike Zimmer was really frustrated, especially with this defensive line, because that was the worst defense I've ever seen. I'm surprised the Zimmer team is giving up 30 points a game. Okay, we got 3. Okay, you got the same thing. And here it is. What's your take on Jones at 3? So you got Mac Jones. And then UCF Gator, you got Zach Wilson at 2, Fields at 3, if I'm correct. And if that's the case, that actually makes sense. That's what the majority of people have. I'm going in a different scenario. Atlanta Falcons there at 4 can go after Justin Fields, who's from Atlanta, or they can go with Kyle Pitts. And from what I've gathered, the general manager wants to take a quarterback. The head coach wants to take a tight end. That makes it very interesting because if they do go with Pitts, Justin Fields could actually free fall quite a bit. And then I can see either the Detroit Lions or the Carolina Panthers trading down. There'll be a team interested in trading up. It's just a question of who. But I think it would really throw everything into a fit if you have Pitts go at 4. I think that really puts everything in. That just makes the draft chaotic. I'm kind of hoping for it because I would like to see Atlanta get Pitts. It just would be fun. I don't really have a dog in the fight. So Pitts going to 4 to Atlanta would just be a lot of fun. You know you're going to have a really good offense. You have a first-year head coach who's a former offensive coordinator. So you get a lot of fun there. A lot of fun. Okay, Denver Gator brings up a good point, but actually, I'm glad you said this because I was going to talk about it. Let's assume Broncos trade up to 6 or 4 for QB. Lance over Jones all day. Lance a good fit. I believe he can be special, but I'm rooting for Locke. If Fields falls, we are grabbing him. Okay. Lance over Jones. All right, sorry. I had kind of a brain freeze here. So let's say Trey Lance is the guy, and you like Lance better than Jones, is what I'm gathering. I like that too. I got Lance over Jones myself. So what you're talking is a 9 for 4 trade. You have to give up a lot. You have to give up a lot. So here's the drill. So you got to give up a lot. But if you get the 4, yeah, you're right. He can be special. Now, Mike's bringing up something I'm going to go to here in just a second. But if Denver uses this pick on an impact player at 9, I think Denver can make the playoffs. If Denver drafts a quarterback here and they got to trade up, and they're going to have to give up a lot of picks, maybe even a player or two, then I see them not making the playoffs. But if Fields falls all the way to 9, that might be very interesting. That would be very interesting. If you trade up, whether it's Lance or Fields, it doesn't really matter. Let's say both are available. Let's say UCF is right and it's going to be Zach Wilson, then Mac Jones, which most people think. And you get your choice of Fields or Lance, and you want Lance at 4. You have to give up a lot. Drew Lock probably starts this year, and then you just get rid of him, which I think is a bad move. I really think it's a bad move. You have to give up a lot of draft capital, and you have to hit too. You got to hit. This guy's got to be a star. Mike, I am very glad you're here, brother. Chiefs opened the highest win total of all teams ahead of the league's first 17-game regular season with 12. Excuse me. Mike, I've been looking at Westgate. I was trying to find, because I know it's coming out soon. Which source did you find this with? Because whichever gambling site you found this with, I'm going to look at afterwards because I'm going to add it to a spreadsheet. I've been waiting for Westgate to come out, Westgate Sportsbook. If you hear ESPN talk up until I think even this year when Westgate says Vegas, or I'm sorry, when ESPN says Vegas, they're referring to Westgate Sportsbook and Casino. I personally have the app on my phone. I have an account. I have access to that. That's the numbers I'm going to use because after the 4th of July, I'm going to break down all 32 teams. I'm going to break down the over-unders. My draft content's good. Don't get me wrong. It's entertaining. It's fun. I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm not a draft expert. When I break down the over-unders on the teams, I am an expert because I'm going to be able to make some money. And I'm going to do my best to make you some money this year, Mike. 12 and 11 and a half are pretty low win totals for 17 weeks. I was actually expecting just the opposite. I thought there'd be a lot of Vegas people going high. I was actually expecting Kansas City to have 12 and a half and then Tampa Bay 12 and a half or 12. Caesars at William Hill. Okay. I actually have access to William Hill in Iowa. I'm going to check that out right after. I'm going to check it out. I got my phone here, but I'm going to check it out after the show. Thanks for letting me know. If that's the case, then I'll start breaking down all 32 teams right now. I wish I would have known that before I went on the air because I've been using Westgate. Westgate a few days ago didn't have it. Last year, I think it was a few days after the draft. But I'm warning you guys. After the 4th of July, I'm going to start breaking down over-unders for the NFL teams. I will be betting my own hard-earned money on those over-unders, and I have been on fire, absolute fire the last couple of years. This year, you saw it firsthand. I made 5 bets. I collected on 3 of them. Not great. I was off about Houston, and I was off about New England. I still think they're solid bets. I was right about Seattle. I was right about the Saints, and I was right about Seattle winning the division. Seattle winning the division paid up plus 210. It was at plus 225 for a long time. By the time I arrived, it was plus 210. So. Giovanni Bernard agreed to a 1-year deal on Monday. A source told he has. That's a great move. That's a great move. I actually think Tampa Bay is better suited to repeat than Kansas City was. I actually really think Tampa Bay's getting everybody back. They're loaded. Antonio Brown is not going to be there. It doesn't matter. You got 2 stud receivers. You got a really good tight end. Your offensive line's loaded. So, I mean, this is it's a great move. I'm not one of these people. I'm not hating on Tampa Bay because they beat my Chiefs. No, I'm very impressed. I mean, I actually agree with you as of right now. My Super Bowl pick would be Bucks and Bills right now. Of course, we have the draft. We have another wave of free agency, but 11 and a half for Tampa Bay. I would take the over. I would really take the over. That's actually pretty damn good. I'm actually excited. I have William Hill app on my phone. I'm actually tempted to break it out. Mike Denver Gator has a question about that. I'm tempted to find that out for you, Denver Gator. Funk says that I like Lance more than Jones, but I see Jones being more of a coach's pick because he has all the pocket qualities and should be able to start sooner. I agree with you, man. Lance didn't play last year. He played 1 game, a half. Didn't look that good. The physical traits, you got to like Lance over Jones. That's a no-brainer. But Jones was able to be really, really good in the SEC, where Lance played at I think they call it. I don't know if they call it 1A or FCS. I'm not really sure what they call it anymore. But I mean, let's just say a small school guy. Lance is a guy that if you draft, you ideally want to sit him for a minimum of 1 year. That was kind of why in my mock draft. Shoot, you know what? I just had a brain freeze. No, that's why. I'm sorry. In my mock draft, I'm sorry about that. That's why in my mock draft, I had him going to Atlanta because he sits under Matt Ryan for maybe 2 years. And that's a great move for Atlanta. You could also use him as a Taysom Hill type of player if you want. I don't think they do. I think they just have him sit. So, you know what, Denver Gator? Let's do it, man. I'll give it to you. I believe I have the app ready to roll. If I remember my password, Jags 6, Broncos 7.5, Lions 5. All right. You know what? I apologize. No, I'd have to look up my account number. I have it on the card, so I can't do it. Jag 6 is interesting. Little higher. Broncos 7.5. If they take a player who's not a quarterback, I would take the over on that in a heartbeat. Lions at 5 is right. That's going to be a tough one to pick over under on the Lions. So Lions are 5. Mike's got Denver Gator. You like that? Well, those are the 3 teams that we normally talk about. So, Funk, you do not have to apologize, man. You enjoy your dinner. I'm actually very happy because this is what the show was kind of founded on, was over-unders. And these over-under numbers are fantastic. Jacksonville at 6 is very appealing. Broncos at 7.5 if they draft a player who can help this year. And here's the drill. You're at 9, okay? There's probably going to be 4 quarterbacks chosen. So that means at 9, you're going to get a top 5 player. All right? You got Cortland Sutton, a Pro Bowl wide receiver, coming back. You got you did lose Philip Lindsay, but you got crap. I'm drawing a blank on the name already, man. Oh God. He signed a 2-year deal, and I completely had a brain freeze. Melvin Gordon, sorry. So you got Melvin Gordon coming back, pretty good running back, not a stud, but pretty good running back. All right, you got Noah Fant, all talent in the world, Jerry Jeudy, who I think is going to be a stud. You get Von Miller coming back. This is not a bad team, man. This really isn't a bad team. You actually got something pretty good cooking. But if you go with a quarterback, you got to wait till next year. And I think if you go with a quarterback, there's a chance that 7.5 people may get excited and go up to 8. I'll do just the opposite. I'll go under and collect. So I hope AB goes back to the Raiders. Go finish the job at the Las Vegas dumpster fire. And Mike is Denver Gator. AB is going back. I heard that he is looking to sign with some other teams, but if he does go back to Tampa Bay, I think that's a big win. And the reason why it's a big win is because he can be option number 3, 4, maybe even 5. I actually really like Giovanni Bernard going there. Leonard Fournette signed a 1-year deal, who's been, when healthy, he's a stud, but he's, if he's healthy, if he's not healthy, Ronald Jones, same type of deal. When he's healthy, he's a legitimate stud, but I mean, I think he's a number 1 running back. So very interesting thing that you can do there in Tampa Bay. But yeah, Tampa Bay at 11.5, I'm taking over on that. I feel pretty good. Easy there, Mike. I was born in the city of Detroit. We don't take insults lightly. I know the Patricia days were an insult to the league, but hopefully that's over because on paper, our front office is nice. Hey, Funk, you're 100% correct. But as of right now, the over-under at 5. I'm going to wait till the draft's over, and they're going to still make a lot of moves. But right now, I'd probably go with an under. Right now, the Lions are a 3-4 win team. And I know your boy Luke, my boy Luke, thinks they're going to win 9 games and compete for the playoffs. I don't see that at all. I mean, right now the Lions may be the worst team in the league. I mean, they're really right now that bad, but they have a chance with free agency and the draft to get a little better. But Lions at 5 right now. If I put a gun to my head, I have to bet on the over under for the Lions. I'm taking under. And I know under at 5 sucks, but you're building the right foundation. Denver Gator, yeah, I started as a Bears fan and grew up a Bucks fan when they were rocking the creamsicle and orange unis, and of course now I'm a Broncos fan. Terrible. Well, you were, if I remember correct, though, you were in Tampa Bay when they won the Super Bowl in 2002, and that's a unit nobody will forget. That was such a good unit. Simeon Rice that year, 14 and a half sacks, if I'm correct. He won't go into Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he played like a Hall of Famer that year. Warren Sapp, as good as a defensive tackle as you'll see. Derek Brooks, defensive MVP of the league. The only time I've seen a linebacker play better than Derek Brooks was probably in 2000 with Ray Lewis. That year, Derek Brooks played as good as a middle linebacker can play. I mean, I've been obsessed with football ever since the 81 playoff game between the Chargers and the Dolphins. It was a divisional round game down in Miami, one of the most famous games in NFL history. Ever since I watched that game, I've been obsessed with football. I can think of only one season I've seen a middle linebacker play better than Derek Brooks' 2002 season. That was Ray Lewis at 2000. I mean, there were some really good seasons by NFL linebackers. Urlacher, what was it, 98? Is that right? Urlacher at 98. That was a great season. I mean, I'm just going from 80 on. I'm probably missing a few guys. Singletary, a few years, probably had some great seasons as a middle linebacker. God, am I just, is that the only great linebacker? Oh, Patrick Willis had some great years in San Francisco. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That, Rondé Barber's in the Hall of Fame. Lynch is in the Hall of Fame. It was funny. The weakest player on that secondary was Dexter Jackson, and I think he won MVP. He had 2 pick sixes. I know one he scored a touchdown on, but yeah. Definitely taking Broncos over 7 this year. Yes, I was working it. Yeah. That team's awesome. That team was awesome. Dunn and Allstott were on that team. Keenan McCardell, who's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, he joined late. Tim Brown, I think, joined the year after, if I'm correct. Gruden loves veteran wide receivers, being a wide receiver coach. I think it's 7.5. Yeah, it's 7.5. If they draft a quarterback, that 7.5 is probably going to jump up to 8. And then I would recommend the under. If they don't draft a quarterback, 7.5, I'm putting money on the over. But it depends on if they draft a quarterback or not. It depends completely on if they draft a quarterback. So, but I gotta do a what were we calling it? A historical show or just an all-time show? Got to talk NFL history. I've been meaning to do that for a while. Emmitt Smith, Derek Brooks, and Roy Jones from my hometown, Pensacola. Oh yeah, WWE Roman Reigns. Wow, I knew Emmitt Smith was from Pensacola. I heard stories when he was in high school. People would put his number like with the crossed out on it on their helmet. I mean, they hated him in high school. He was a high school legend, and he went to University of Florida and just played awesome there. I think his third and final season, he was a Heisman candidate. I had no idea Roy Jones was from Pensacola. You know what? Maybe I did. There was a time I thought Roy Jones may have been the best boxer I've ever seen. I don't know the names of the weight classes. I used to be a boxing fan. I'm not anymore, but I want to say 160. And I don't know the name of the weight. When he was at 160, he might have been the best boxer I've ever seen. And then he went from 160 to 171 to light heavyweight. Then I think he was a heavyweight. The fight against Tyson, I will stand by that he lost. But when he was 160, he might have been one of the best boxers I've ever seen in my life. The dude had everything at 160, just phenomenal hand speed, technique, defense. And at 160, he was usually taller than most of his opponents. He was taller, so you could say bigger if you want. Stronger, just so much speed, and at 160 had unbelievable power. Once he went from 160 to 171, just wasn't still great, all time great, but not the same at 160. Just phenomenal. Sorry, I went on rant. WWE, I don't know who that is. I don't follow wrestling, man. Sorry. But yeah, man. Hmm. I apologize. I'm a little thrown off because the last couple shows I've done, I usually get behind about 15 to 20 minutes on comments, and I was kind of expecting the same thing. This is fine. Don't feel like you have to put a comment in. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I create the show because I want to just basically answer your questions. It's just a conversation. My mock draft. A lot of you have been watching my videos. You know who I got 1 through 27, and I was expecting a little bit of feedback, but hey, listen, it's okay. I can sit here. I'll talk for a little bit longer. Hey, look, the whole purpose of the show is kind of have a back and forth. I was kind of hoping Dustin would join because he kind of swayed me away from taking from Carolina going corner to left tackle. That's okay. As far as NFL draft is concerned, I'm excited. 13 days away. My mock draft is almost complete, and then Wednesday I will break down my first round final mock draft. The following Monday I will have. The following Monday I'll go ahead and I will have my draft grade, and it'll be on a bell curve. It'll be on a bell curve. We'll have 1 or 2 A pluses, and then A through D. A little bit of everything. It's going to be great, man. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I guess I did hurt their feelings, Denver Gator. I'll be honest. I'm kind of thrown off. I was really expecting a lot more comments. No, if anybody feels like I've insulted them, that last thing I meant to do. I actually thought I gave some. I try not to insult people, but I did offer my opinion. I think I did hurt some people's feelings because I don't see too many people here. Normally I'm 15 to 20 minutes behind on comments. It's not the same today. You see Sewell's practicing right tackle. I think some teams ask him if he feels comfortable. I did not see that. But I think that reinforces that he would go to Detroit at 7. I feel, you know what? I know that my mock draft's coming in, and I could go in a different direction. I reserved the right, but I'm really liking Sewell to Detroit, and that's been my pick for a while. I originally had Patrick Surtain, and you guys need some help in your secondary. Okay, you guys need some help in your secondary, but Sewell at right tackle makes a lot of sense. Sewell at right tackle does make a lot of sense. So, but no, I didn't see that. I had no idea. Man, that's actually great to know. It's great to know. Man, okay. Like I said, I'm a little thrown off because I was expecting a lot more back and forth. I can literally talk football for a couple hours on any subject, but my mock draft is not complete. It will be complete next week. I'm going to I'll screen share 1 through 32. I didn't set up it for 1 through 27, so. Come on, bro. We love your takes. So yes, Sewell probably is one of the smartest moves that he can make. Yeah, it absolutely is. I personally think he's best at guard. I think Sewell, if he moves inside, is just going to be a world wrecker. I think he could be Quentin Nelson good as a guard. You put him outside at right tackle. I think that's a great move for him. I don't think he's an NFL left tackle. I really don't see it. I really don't. And I know it's different than what a lot of people think, but I have him going to Detroit, and I don't know if Detroit wants to play him at right tackle or at guard. Personally, I would try him out at guard first, and then if he shows enough speed and athleticism, put him out on right tackle. Go ahead and move him out to right tackle. They're starting right tackle, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I know he's a free agent after the season, so you could put Sewell on the inside this year, put him on the outside next year. And we can do that. So. All right. You know what, guys? I'll tell you what, let's just wrap it up, man. We'll just have it kind of be a short show tonight, and that's okay. This next week, I'm going to have 5 videos, picks 28 through 32. I'll have all those videos out before next week's show. So when I jump on next week, I'm going to go through all my picks 1 through 32. And then the Friday after that, there's not going to be a show because the draft's going on. I'm not going to interrupt the draft. I'll release my draft grades on Monday, and then the following Friday, we'll kind of go over draft grades. I want to hear what you think, your opinions are, and we'll kind of go from there. But look, hey, guys, I'm just going to wrap it up. And listen, next week I'll have my full first round mock. We'll kind of break it down. I want to hear from you guys and see what you think, and we'll kind of go from there. Yeah, I do agree with you, Funk. You need a lot of help. And Davis and Cox. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. I've been watching a lot more of Cox. I really like him. Really like him. The Lions in the second round, that's going to be high, but that's a big one. That's a big one. Aren't there any more trades coming and big changes in mock drafts? I'm going to have some changes in my final first round mock draft Wednesday before the draft. It's going to be completely redone. I'm not doing a video on trades. And is there more trades coming? Absolutely. There's talks with Atlanta trading down. Multiple teams are interested in trading the 4, and Atlanta's been talking about trying to get a bunch of draft picks. That's kind of interesting. I saw somebody posted something about Minnesota trading to 4, and that didn't make any sense to me, but this I could see. Hey, man, good night, Denver Gator. I'm going to be jacked up for the next 13 days, man. Oh, dude, you're right, man. So anyway, hey, listen, guys, that's it. If you haven't already, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you next Friday. I'll have my full first-round mock draft, and we'll kind of go from there. I'll go into more detail with all 32 picks, and then we'll be live for the full draft.